Joker, Folie, Deux, is a sequel that takes some substantial risks, both stylistically and narratively, and reactions from critics have been divided on whether these risks pay off. The film continues the story of Arthur Fleck, played by Joaquin Phoenix, who is now confined to Arkham Asylum after the violent events of the first movie. Set 2 years later, it introduces new elements to Arthur's twisted narrative, including a romance with Lee Quinzel, portrayed by Lady Gaga, and adds an unexpected twist. It is partly a musical. The sequel picks up in the aftermath of Arthur's infamous murder of Murray Franklin, which led to riots in Gotham City. Arthur is depicted as deeply fragmented, struggling to distinguish between his true self and the Joker persona. He meets Lee Quinzel during his time in Arkham, sparking a bond that eventually grows into a romance. Quinzel, inspired by Arthur's chaotic persona, joins him in a strange and unstable partnership. While Lady Gaga's Lee Quinzel was expected to evolve into the well-known character of Harley Quinn, some critics noted that she never fully embodies that transformation, which might disappoint some fans of the comic book canon. The movie explores themes of loneliness, delusion, and the desperate quest for identity. Much like the original, it paints Arthur not as a figure to be admired but as a tragic character whose descent into madness continues. Critics have pointed out that unlike the previous film, which hinted at Arthur's sense of empowerment through his breakdown, Folie, Deux portrays him as increasingly pathetic. His attempts at finding meaning, whether through his relationship with Quinzel or his musical fantasies, often fall flat, further accentuating his sense of hopelessness and alienation. One of the boldest choices made by director Todd Phillips is the film's partial shift to being a musical. This aspect has received mixed reactions. The musical sequences take place largely in Arthur and Lee's imaginations, a device that contrasts the grim reality of their circumstances with their idealized internal worlds. The sequences often portray Arthur's fantasies of grandeur as an entertainer, providing an ironic twist to the dark narrative. Critics had different takes on this musical approach. Some felt the musical numbers were well executed and provided an exciting, almost surreal juxtaposition against the bleakness of Arkham Asylum. Lady Gaga's performance in these musical moments was praised as a high point, bringing a dynamic energy that helps elevate certain parts of the film. However, others found the musical integration clumsy and overindulgent, detracting from the intensity of the story rather than adding depth to it. The choice to downplay choreography and instead focus primarily on vocals in these musical scenes also divided opinions, with some reviewers suggesting it made the film drag in places. Joaquin Phoenix delivers another deeply unsettling performance as Arthur Fleck. Critics have noted that Phoenix once again embodies the character with an intense physicality, but his portrayal occasionally drifts into self-indulgence. In particular, some felt that Phoenix's portrayal became too exaggerated, especially during Arthur's singing and dancing sequences, which often seemed disconnected from the film's emotional core. Lady Gaga's portrayal of Lee Quinzel has received a significant amount of praise, with many reviewers highlighting her dynamic presence. Her character is torn between obsession and genuine affinity for Arthur, and Gaga balances these extremes well, providing a performance that is both unstable and emotionally compelling. Her musical background helps make the film's musical numbers some of its more memorable moments, even if the sequences themselves are sometimes criticized for being out of sync with the broader narrative. Narratively, Joker, Folie, Deux is a film that embraces absurdity and confusion as part of its storytelling style. Critics like those at Roger Ebert pointed out that the film often feels incoherent, psychologically, narratively, and aesthetically, but they concede that, as a musical, this kind of disjointedness may be forgiven to an extent. The romance between Arthur and Lee forms the crux of the film, but it's presented as fractured and unhealthy, emphasizing the delusional aspects of Arthur's character rather than offering any sort of redemption. The film's relationship to the broader Batman universe also sparked debate. Unlike many other superhero or villain-centric films, Joker, Folie, Deux intentionally shuns the typical comic book movie formula. Instead of diving into Gotham's rich lore or offering fan service for Batman aficionados, it focuses on Arthur's own delusions and the insular world of Arkham. This approach was a breath of fresh air for some, who appreciated the deviation from genre conventions. However, others found it disappointing that the film neglected the rich potential of Gotham's broader universe and characters. The film's score, composed by Hilda Gunnadottir, has been another highlight for many critics. Following her Oscar-winning work on the first Joker film, Gunnadottir once again delivers a haunting and evocative score that underpins the movie's most intense and introspective moments. The music plays a crucial role in amplifying Arthur's internal turmoil and the eerie, disorienting atmosphere of the film. Visually, Joker, Folie et Deux, retains the gritty, realistic aesthetic of the first movie, which helps ground even its most extravagant moments. The cinematography captures the decaying, oppressive environment of Arkham and the dark, claustrophobic nature of Arthur's existence, contrasting sharply with the vibrant but unsettling musical fantasies that punctuate the story. Joker, Folie et Deux, is undeniably ambitious, pushing the boundaries of what audiences might expect from a sequel to a comic book film. For some, this ambition results in a compelling, if flawed, exploration of mental illness, isolation, and the blurred lines between reality and fantasy. For others, the film's musical components and its portrayal of Arthur as a pathetic figure rather than an anti-hero may feel like a step back from the visceral impact of the original. Overall, the movie is an experience of contrasts, intense performances paired with a fragmented narrative, musical whimsy against a backdrop of darkness, and ambitious storytelling that sometimes struggles to find its footing. Whether audiences view it as an artistic success or a misstep, Joker, Folie et Deux, leaves a significant impression, further solidifying the complex and chaotic legacy of Arthur Fleck.